Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Brandon Crow watching from Hockey Canada. Writes in and he says, my wife and her two sisters all played NCAA Division I hockey. They attribute it to waiting around that chute as kids and using those prairie oysters as hockey puck. Shooting them for the dog. Here's
Bingo!
one. All the raw testicles that I collected one day, I put them in a margarine container. Remember the old Imperial margarine that had the purple crowns around it? I put them all in there, and I took them to a party, a bush party. You've been there, Moose. You weren't at that one, but you've been to them. And I was going to cook them. I was going to cook them and make people eat them and not tell them what they were till after. But it didn't matter because Philip Kenyon took one, popped it in his mouth, crunched it raw. And he was smiling, and the blood ran down.
And he knew what it was?
I will never forget. He knew what it was. Philip Kenyon.
That was Fear Factor before there was Fear Factor with Joe Rogan.
I know. Beer might have been involved. But the next time that we're driving to Montana, I'll show you exactly where it is, because a lot of stuff went down at that site. A lot of stuff. I'm not going to go any further, but just remind me later. I'll tell you about the bikers that were on their way back from Sturgis from the rally that stopped at our party.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Why am I getting upset? I shouldn't even care. The Vegas Golden Knights are my team. Andrew Brunette losing his mind, the Panthers coach Bruno, on a missed call. And I am loath to talk about officiating, especially this time of year. Blown penalty shot call in Dallas, missed hit to the head. Like, how do you miss? He's bleeding from the nose. How do you miss a hit to the head?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is. Hello, Canada and Canadian sports fans in the United States. Dare I say NHL fans? How you liking these Stanley Cup Playoffs? My shirt's 1 year behind, and you're probably questioning what year it is right now. But, yeah, we're in it. We're in it. Sunrise, Florida, the place to be here tonight for Game 5 of the Caps and the Panthers. And that's where I am. Our lovely and talented co-host and the owner and boss of the whole shooting match, the Moose Darren DuPont, is in his Seattle Kraken tracksuit, I see, in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. How you doing, Moose?
I'm doing well. I'm just supporting that 4th overall draft pick that's coming up.
Oh, right. Good one. Well, I've got that coming up in our Quick Six show topics. But I want to say this. Here's the biggest problem in my life. There is lizard poop all over my deck here. I'm going to have to take care of that. I didn't have time this morning. Right. And then Jordan was saying, our director, that do you have wind chimes or a bird problem? Because he can hear these. What do you hear on the other side of the screen from where I'm at? What do you hear? What are you guys hearing?
Yeah, I hear a little wind. Sometimes you hear the birds chirping. It just really makes me upset that I'm not there. So it is, it's
that's
a little bit of jealousy.
That's what I thought. I'm like, well, there's an owl, and there's a Hooters like about 5 blocks from here. But other than that, one of our staff said, well, if you can get a pellet gun, can you remedy that? I think you go to jail and they lock away the key if you shoot an owl, don't they?
Yeah, no, I think so. And on the lizard poop, how big's the lizard? Right? It's a teacup Yorkie. How big could it be?
These things have been dropping grumpies all over the place, and it's a little larger than what a mouse would leave behind. You know what I mean? So anyways, that's the biggest problem for me today. Coming up on the program, Hustler Patterson from Winnipeg Sports Talk in Hour 1 and in Hour 2. Lacrosse insider from Lacrosse Link, Steven Stamp, to talk about the conference finals coming up this weekend. Those are the guests. Can we hit the Quick Six? Because I got a lot of stuff to get into today. Number one, Adrian Kempe scored 112 into overtime, and the LA Kings held on for a 5-4 win over the Edmonton Oilers to take a 3-2 lead in their first-round playoff series last night. The result means the Oilers need a win in Game 6 in LA Thursday to stave off elimination. And I guess now would be a good time to get into what was on our Instagram story, what I posted. It's in my commentary today. Mercury is in retrograde. You couldn't wait for me to bring this up, Moose, and I know that. People of my generation that are and older would say there must be a full moon. There's some really crazy stuff going on. Now the new thing is Mercury is in retrograde. I don't know all of it, but the planet Mercury's like spinning backwards now, and it's screwed up everything. It started on Tuesday, going to last for 3 weeks. So with the Winnipeg Ice losing in Moose Jaw last night, the Oilers losing in overtime at home against a team that I thought they were not going to have any problems with, and then the Leafs coming back, we're all out of order for 3 weeks. And actually, I smiled driving down Glades in my Jeep with the top off, thinking, let's do this with the viewers, Moose. What's the craziest, zaniest thing that you could see happening in the next 3 weeks? Like Johnny Depp goes to jail for a month. Justin Trudeau resigns. You know, in sports, like what's the zaniest things that you could see happening with Mercury in retrograde? Lay them on me. I'd love to know.
Yeah, it's wild because you're right. I mean, everything's happening. It's really crazy. These series are unpredictable. They're going nuts.
Yes.
You know, you're having blowouts one week or one day, and then the next day it's the other team that's like, there's no rhyme nor reason to what's happening here, and there's no consistency. So I think you're onto something with Mercury in retrograde there. Things are going crazy.
It's not me. It's not me. It was one of my advisors down here, Joe Lee. I can't take credit for it. I didn't even, what? She's like, Mercury's going to be in retrograde, is coming up, so just, I'm like, tell me more. Anyways, here's another one. Norm Fongo has written in. I told you that he was the equipment manager, Hall of Fame for the Rough Riders, but also the Los Angeles Sharks. He's got some great stories from that. And God's team, the Regina Pats in 1974. So as I opened up the text line, we're all on the same page today. I can feel it. Clark, Jordan, you, me, the viewers, obviously Fongo. He's written in and says, from yesterday's show, Lorne Mulligan's coach with the Winnipeg Clubs was Jerry Brissons. Okay? So remember that line about when the clock starts ticking, I start kicking? The goalie, Lorne Mulligan.
Yeah.
And Fongo goes on to say, Wednesday is the 48th anniversary of the Regina Pats' 1974 win. Can we get a hell yeah? Can we get something from Rick Reagan? Today,
How about
the
that?
48th anniversary. If I'd known, I'd have worn my Pats gear today. So thank you, Fongo. Let's plan a ceremony and a party. So where was I? The Oilers lost. The world's going to end, and we move on. Austin Matthews scored the tie-breaking goal with 6:06 left in the third period, and the Toronto Maple Leafs rallied from an early 2-goal deficit to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-3 to take a 3-2 lead in their first-round playoff series. More proof. More proof. What the hell's going on? I watched most of the game. The Lightning are winning, and they have complete control. And then the Leafs wake up at home. And listen, while I find Leafs fans annoying, I don't hate you. I don't. If the Leafs win this series and go on to win the Stanley Cup, Bob's your uncle. But can I pose this to you, Moose, and the viewers?
Yeah.
Let's say the Lightning aren't that hungry anymore, having won 2 straight Stanley Cups. Is there something to be said for that? Because John Cooper said it again last night after the game. He said, we're kind of giving it to them, giving them the game.
It's interesting. You know, there might be something to that. It's so hard to climb that mountain once, let alone twice, and then go back and do it a third time with largely, you know, the same group. There could be something absolutely to that because you're right. I mean, it was all Tampa in that game, at least for the first 20 minutes and then a little bit into the second before Toronto woke up kind of in that second period. But yeah, the starts have been really good and for Tampa. It was the best game of the series. It was the first time we saw a lead change in the series. That had never happened.
I'm not gonna,
you know, and then Tampa comes back to tie at 3-3, and you think Leafs are gonna just implode again after, you know, coming back, and then Matthews got the goal to win it. It was wild. It was crazy, and completely unpredictable after the game that happened a couple of nights ago.
So on the craziest things that could happen with the Mercury in retrograde, like, look it up, man. It's new to me. Okay, it's new to me. I just learned about it in December. A lot of you just learning about it today. Greg S., watching on YouTube, says, craziest thing, Oilers lose the series and McDavid demands a trade. What's crazy about that? I could actually see that happen.
Jeez. I was going to say Leafs and Oilers will meet in the Stanley Cup final. Like something crazy like that will happen.
Yeah, I mean, like Gary Bettman and David Silver changed jobs, which is what I think Gary Bettman would secretly like, or Patrick Mahomes announces his retirement or something like, or Charleston Hughes signs with the Rough Riders. I mean, oh, wait. Again, proof that this crazy stuff's going on. Oleg is back. Can you please stop writing in third person, though? It's annoying to me. He's a viewer in Winnipeg. He says, Oleg wishes great morning to his best friend, Mr. Darren Lasso. You look so nice today. So I just can't stand when people write in the third person. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, Edmonton, you're disappointing us in Calgary. Get it together. And Jennifer from the Four Seasons says, ugh, another loss for my Oil. Well, that's 2 in a row, so now we win 2 in a row. That's the spirit, as my mom would say. That's the spirit. That's what I want to hear, not downtrodden stuff. Other games last night that nobody really cares about. The Carolina Hurricanes hammered the Boston Bruins 5-1 to take a 3-2 series lead, in the St. Louis Blues will have a chance to close their series with the Wild back home after they won 5-2 in Mini for a 3-2 series lead. I don't feel that that's going to happen. I feel that series is going to go 7. I think I had Carolina in 6. Looks like it's going to go... Sorry, I had them in 5. It looks like it's going to go 6. And are you ready to move on from last night's games, Moose, or how are you on things?
Yeah, I'm good to move on if you're ready to look ahead. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. By the way, coverage on the RP show brought to you in part by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Find everything you need to know about our services, financing, product information, and more at broncoplumbing.com. Tonight in the National Hockey League Stanley Cup Playoffs, it's elimination time. It's happened. Doesn't matter the league you're in. Like, for instance, the Rangers are facing elimination tonight at home against Pittsburgh. When I was in those series, hockey, not so much football because those are one-game things, but in those series, you're riding the bus and you felt like the guy with the hood up and the sickle over his shoulder is sitting right across the aisle from you. You know what I mean? Like, the Grim Reaper? The Grim Reaper has entered the building. And that brings itself an entirely new sense of, ooh, whether you want to close it out or whether you're facing elimination. It shouldn't, but it does. Especially for a mental weakling like me, or what I used to be. That's why you need mental strength coaches, to not think about it. Here in Florida tonight, it's Washington at the Panthers. That series is tied 2-2. So we at least know there'll be a Game 6. I was just happy that the Panthers didn't soil themselves and get swept. I just was happy to know that I would at least get one game in Florida, because I don't know with this team. They're like a box of chocolates, Moose. You never know what you're going to get. Well, in the playoffs. And then it's Dallas at Calgary, 2-2. Who wins tonight, Moose? Dallas, Calgary.
The Flames, I really think that they do. They put up 50-some shots in the game. I think they're going to roll tonight. I think they have to have that same approach. Put up a lot of shots.
Okay, thank you. Keep the comments coming. Jason in Red Deer chimes in. Good morning, sports fans and friends. To Kona in Winnipeg. Good day, all. The regular gang's all together. The coffee session. That reminds me, Winnipeg. My point, too, is the Montreal Canadiens winning the draft lottery and will have the number 1 pick. It's going to be Shane Wright. What a crappy year to have the number 1 pick, because Shane Wright wasn't even the best player in this year's World Juniors. Connor Bedard was. Don't at me. I can't name any other guys behind Shane Wright. So let's not talk about that. Let's talk about Winnipeg for a second, where we're on the air on Game Plus TV, Bell MTS Cable, and obviously YouTube. You sent me the video of James Patrick, the ice coach. I don't know who the other 2 guys were. But James Patrick, like I'm shocked. Maybe James Patrick isn't even in the running for the Jets job, and that's why he came out with this. Because he said that he'd heard from Cody Eakin, who's a Winnipeg kid, I believe? Yeah. And who else? That this is the worst dressing room that they've ever been in. Like, Patrick just trashed the Jets. And if you look in the replies, somebody said, well, James Patrick's no longer a candidate for the Winnipeg Jets coaching job. Sounds to me like Jeep don't want it.
Yeah.
And he's just saying the truth. So what did you think about watching that? You got to watch the video, man. James Patrick is cooler than the other side of the pillow. James Patrick is sharper than the edge of town. Why would he make those comments?
I don't know. You get in a relaxed environment and you maybe don't realize that it's going to get reposted or it's going to get out there. But I didn't think it was, I want to say I don't think it was that bad because you're right. He absolutely tore apart the culture of the Winnipeg Jets and talked about how bad it was. And he's heard from people inside the locker room, multiple people. Now, maybe that's him saying, look, this is the issue and he can go and clean it up. But I mean, he's not making a lot of fans, I don't think, inside that Winnipeg dressing room. It'll be interesting to see what Patterson thinks of this hustler later on. But he really went deep on it, and it's creating a little bit of shockwaves throughout Manitoba.
Again, James Patrick knew what he was doing. Maybe you haven't been around him as much as I have. He's very sharp, and he should be the next head coach of the Winnipeg Jets. But maybe he didn't get an interview, so he's like, I'm just going to let it fly. I don't care, which I admire, man. That's putting your balls on the table. And he said it the way that it is. Was it him or one other guy on the podcast said, Paul Maurice goes, I'm out. I can't coach these guys. Was it Patrick? Somebody said that. Somebody said it on the podcast. You're right. That's exactly what they said. I'm out. Maurice, can't coach. It all lines up with what exactly happened. You know? Yeah. So, anyways, couple things. Somebody wrote in, Jim Korchinski in the chat says Barry Trotz is the most logical Jets coach candidate. Maybe because he's from Dauphin and he's a very celebrated coach. But let's not get hasty here. There's a lot of great coaches available. Can somebody else play this game? Greg S. in the chat regarding what crazy things are going to happen with the Mercury in retrograde. He says Tom Brady becomes head coach of the Buccaneers mid-season while still being quarterback.
How about that?
Again, that happened in Toronto with the Argonauts and Pinball Clemens. That actually happened. But that's the CFL and State Fair football. Today on Miami Sports Radio, just because you want to know, they're not talking about the Panthers. This is what they were talking about. The Miami Heat being up 3-2 on the Sixers, and they beat them by 35 last night. Tom Brady's house being built. They're still talking about that. You would think, and would Tom Brady become an owner of the Dolphins, become in the ownership group, and could he be on television analyzing games and own the Dolphins at the same time? That was on Miami Sports Radio today. You would think he was at the Miami Grand Prix on Sunday. Tom Edward Brady. Like, yeah. I feel like going, guys, he doesn't play for the Dolphins. You'd think that he does. They love Tom Brady here. And they hated him when he was the quarterback of the Patriots. That's why I think they've warmed up to me in Calgary. They hated me as the voice of the Rough Riders, but now I'm there, and they're like, hey, this guy, he's not so bad. He's kind of cool. One more from Corey Patterson. He runs the Hockey Club podcast in Tallahassee, Florida. And he's written in and says, if the Leafs can somehow pull off a series win over Tampa, they need to send the Lightning a big thank you card. Tampa's teaching them what it takes to win in the playoffs.
Bingo!
I guess, Corey, and stop it. Tampa's lost their hunger. That's what you're learning today. I sensed it. They're not as hungry anymore. We're only 2 points through the quick six. We'll come back with the other 4 when we return. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network. We're live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Game day in South Florida. It is the Panthers home to the Washington Capitals tonight in Game 5 of their first-round Stanley Cup Playoff Series. Hey, by the way, did you know Taco Time has been around for over 40 years in Canada? This iconic brand and a Canadian favorite serves over 3.2 million burritos, 2.5 million tacos, and over 1 million Mexi fries every year. And that's just to RP Show staff. As we bring in the Moose, Darren Moose DuPont. By the way, funny, hockey coach, a junior hockey coach has written me here, and GM. And he says, Hayes was the other Jet player. And I'm like, the other Jet player that what? I'm a squirrel. Sorry. I moved on already. Hayes was the other guy
with
with
bad culture from.
Yes, right. It was Hayes. I'm like, I was totally moved on to my next thing. So it was Hayes and Eakin say worst culture that they've ever been a part of. And if you want to debate amongst yourselves who's responsible for the culture, that's a toughie. Right? You know, maybe we'll bring in Andrew Patterson on that because he's in next from Winnipeg Sports Talk. Moving on to point 3. Aaron Judge hit a mammoth 3-run drive in the 9th inning for his first walk-off home run in the major leagues. Aaron Judge, his first walk-off homer. And it lifted the Yankees to a 6-5 comeback victory over the Blue Jays at Yankee Stadium. Giancarlo Stanton tied it with a 3-run shot in the 6th, and the Yankees rallied for their 14th victory in 16 games after 3 Toronto ejections left the angry Blue Jays seeing red. I don't know who wrote that story, but he's got pizzazz, or her. I love Aaron Judge. Like, I don't want to finish second or third behind the Yankees, but I love Aaron Judge. How are you on the New York Yankees? Are they the evil empire to you, or do you respect them?
Both. Both is the answer. I think they are the evil empire. We hate them, but we respect them. We respect them. There's so much history and tradition. And, I think there's a lot of like anger, but I don't think it's hate. I think it's respect.
Director Jordan says, rumor has it the RP Show crew is going to Taco Time for lunch today.
Let's go.
Trenton, Norway, writes in. He says the Oilers still need to have steady defense the whole game. If the Leafs learn not to quit, they'll go through. Carolina should win Game 6. The Flames need to stay tough. Stay well, everyone. By the way, Evander Kane, -2, turnover at the offensive blue line. Enough said. I'm getting off track. Angels rookie Reed Detmer pitched the Majors' second no-hitter this season, cruising after he benefited from a borderline error call in the 7th inning as L.A. beat the Tampa Bay Rays 12-0 on Tuesday. The 22-year-old lefty threw a career-high 108 pitches in his 11th big league start, striking out 2 and walking 1. Moving on, junior hockey, Dub Hub. The Moose Jaw Warriors had a shorthanded goal by Warriors forward Calder Anderson at 9:42 of the third period, proving to be the deciding goal as the Warriors edged the Winnipeg Ice 3-2. The victory cuts Winnipeg's Eastern Conference semifinal series lead to 2-1. Game 4 goes tonight. Jagger Furcus and Eric Ulrey also scored for the Tribe. And if I may, Alex Cotton out in Langley, BC, scored the game winner with less than 4 minutes to play in regulation as the Vancouver Giants topped the Kamloops Blazers 3-2. And with that, it avoided going down 3-0 in their WHL playoff series. I had buds that were at the game last night. They reported raucous atmosphere and tremendous rink burgers at Mosaic Place in Moose Jaw. Did you know anybody, Moose, going to the junior hockey games last night?
No, I mean, nobody was messaging me about the games last night, but I have been paying attention out east a little bit too. I don't know if you still have your Kitchener Rangers shirt, but they're still in the playoffs.
It's too hot, man.
I know. Like, I don't think we got golf shirts, right? I think we just got the long sleeve winter gear sent over from Ray in the 6th, but Kitchener's still alive.
Those jackets that he sent from the Kitchener Rangers are good for -45 grade. I'd die in Florida wearing those. But we thank Ray in the 6th for sending them, and for that reason, we're Kitchener Rangers fans, and thanks for the update, Moose. By the way, Game 7 tonight in the MJ. Steinbach Pistons home to the Dauphin Kings. Game 7, the two best words in hockey. I think it's the two best words in sports, right? Game 7. I would tune that in if I wasn't going to be at FLA Live Arena tonight watching the Panthers and the Capitals. So I'll say go Pistons. Sorry. No, I can't pick sides, but Paul Dick's a pretty good buddy of mine, the coach and GM of the Pistons. Super guy, former Moose Jaw Warrior. Point 5. In the NBA playoffs, Jimmy Butler scored 23 points. Max Strus added 19 points and 10 rebounds, and the Miami Heat moved a win away from a trip to the Eastern Finals by topping the 76ers 120-85. And the other game, Devin Booker scored 28, and the Phoenix Suns beat the Dallas Mavericks 110-80 to take a 3-2 lead in the Western Conference semifinals. But with the Raptors out, we don't really care. I see people are writing in regarding our flow. You don't see the chat, but I do, Darren. Our flow is courtesy Tough Tribe for Men. It made the roadie to Florida. It contains aloe vera, botanicals, and antioxidants traditionally known for their scalp and hair benefits. We are part of the clean beauty industry. Welcome to Clean Beauty for Men, available today at toughtribeformen.com and Amazon Canada. I actually had to, in the Calgary airport, my bag was over, and I had my pomade already in my bag. I had so many books. People were giving me books while I was in Calgary. I got a lot of reading to do, Moose. Plus, I bought some books. The books weighed like 10 kilograms. So because I'm a veteran traveler, I pulled them all out of my suitcase, shoved them into a carry-on bag, and Bob's your uncle. And we were good.
Bob's your uncle.
So, perfect.
Thanks, guys. John Kirby in Edmonton. writes in with a couple of things. He says, breaking news, Edmonton Oilers defenseman Darnell Nurse to have a hearing for headbutting. And he goes on to point out that the Red Deer Rebels face elimination tonight in the Centrium. Thank you for pointing that out. There are 3 dub games tonight. Oil Kings look to sweep out Red Deer. Winnipeg at Moose Jaw, Game 4, ice up 2-1, and Seattle at Portland in the West. And I have no idea what that series is at. Somebody may want to tell me that. But it's a very fun time, Moose, in the world of hockey. Would you not agree?
Oh, the best. It's the absolute best time. We're talking about junior hockey playoffs at every level, right? Baseball's in full swing, Stanley Cup playoffs. We're talking about, football getting back into training camp and into the summer where they'll start their OTAs and things like that, and the NFL leading into the fall. I mean, and the weather's getting great. I mean, it's always good where you are, but this is literally the best time of the year.
Our 6th point of the Quick Six pertains to the CFL, but I wanted to throw out our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, and I want to thank the National Hockey League because they've made it very easy for us this week. Every day, our poll has related to their finalists for their year-end awards. So today, they named the finalists for the Calder Trophy as NHL Rookie of the Year, and they are Michael Bunting of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Moritz Seider of the Detroit Red Wings, and Trevor Zegras of the Anaheim Ducks. And if I had a vote, it would be Trevor Zegras for a few reasons. One, I hadn't seen Seider play a game. 2, I don't like the Leafs. 3, Trevor Zegras is the most skilled player of them all. One of the most skilled players in the National Hockey League. And I watched a lot of Ducks games. This kid's great. I'm a little upset that Tanner Jeannot did not be named a finalist. I don't know what his offensive stats were or his numbers, but I know how key of a member he was of the Nashville Predators, the pride of Oxbow Sask. Glad you asked. But he didn't even make it. So Moritz Seider is leading the vote, actually by quite a bit. He's got 58% of the vote, Moose. Your thoughts, Bunting, Seider, or Zegras?
Yeah, I love Zegras. I mean, that's the popular choice. I thought he would be leading the poll. I really did, because he's so fun to watch and electric. I think Bunting was the one who led all the rookies in scoring. That's traditionally where I would put my votes. Traditionally, who I think will win the Calder is usually it's the rookie with the most points. So for that reason, I think I'll go with Bunting. But Zegras, man, so much fun. He's so electric. Headlines everywhere.
He was an NHL All-Star. Back into the chat. Jim Korchinski. He's, I believe, in Manitoba. He says, why do Oilers/Canadian fans sit in the seats for overtime? Most USA fans show up for overtime and stand for the duration. Most Oiler fans were still getting beer while the Kings scored. I see what he's saying. He said, why the Oiler fans weren't in their seats for OT? Who cares? 1:44 to go in the game, or into overtime. They scored the winner. Buy your ticket, go do whatever the hell you want. I get what you're saying. Looked pretty raucous in Scotiabank Arena last night. That's why I say, even though I don't like the Leafs, if they win, I'll be happy for them, because it was bonkers in there. Jennifer from the Four Seasons, she says, she had tacos yesterday in her house. 22 tacos. 5 kids. No leftovers, she said. Then had to go for supper. And Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, Jalen Philpott takes to the field for the first time as a Calgary Stampeder this morning. So, thank you, Jeff, the Stamps fan, for bringing it up, because my 6th point pertains to the Canadian Football League. I don't know how many days we are away from training camp. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 5 days officially. The CBA isn't done. I was talking to a coach this morning who said, why don't they have this CBA scheduled to run out in January instead of the day before training camp? What the hell? The training camps are opening? I don't know. I've kind of lost track. As you've seen over the last 35 minutes, we're into the Stanley Cup playoff. Like, the dilly-dallying that's going on with the CFL labor talks, I don't understand. I'm getting this email from the Blue Bombers about their media availabilities, and they've added a global kicker today. Carlston Hughes joins the Riders. What was the buzz on that in the sweatpants capital? Anything?
Yeah, largely quiet, actually, on the move. I think, we're still waiting to see if they're going to be on the field at training camp, if they're going to start the season, those types of things. I think, though, it's not negative about Hughes coming. I think it's just largely pretty quiet. There wasn't a lot of buzz on the street. But I think that the little buzz there was positive. I think they like to see him back. He's a good community guy, and people like seeing his smiling face around town, but largely quiet.
I saw some very positive comments about Charleston Hughes returning. But on the CFL thing, you know, one of these coaches that called, I said, you are one of less than a handful of guys that I talked to. Because the coach goes, they never ask me. He goes, I wish they would. I could have this thing ended like that. And I said, well, you are a handful of Hall of Famers that I talk to that the CFL does not want to talk to when it comes to these things. It's like, we got it handled, we got it figured out. The new leadership of the CFL. People think it's the same, and it's not. 5 to 10 years ago, the way the CFL did business changed. The faces around that leadership table changed 5 to 10 years ago. And here we are. But with what you said about why the CBA didn't run out way back in January, you have a take on that.
Well, the players were ready to negotiate in January. And we saw that. We've seen them say this on social media from the PA and from players in the league. They're ready to negotiate, and the owners weren't. The owners pushed it. They wanted to push it into March, and then it got pushed into April, and now here into May. And, you know, I think it's a tactic by the owners to put more pressure on the players and to try and get what they want and put the players in an uncomfortable situation. So I think the intention was to negotiate early and not be in this issue. And by the sounds of it, the players were ready to be at the table in January.
The players trusted the owners and got knifed. Travis Rosebrook on YouTube. Michael Bunting had 63 points and was a plus 27. Trevor Zegras has 61 points and was a minus 21. Totally fair, but Bunting was playing on the top line of the Leafs, the best Leafs team ever, statistically, and Zegras was on an Anaheim team that missed the playoffs. So that's my Moose, we'll revisit this, okay, because we got a break.
Sounds good.
We're going to Winnipeg next. Stick around, everybody. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live, and if you missed any of the show, you can always catch the podcast where the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time.
business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Game day in Calgary. A live look in the Saddle Dome. 8 p.m. Mountain tonight. It is the Flames and the Stars. Game 5. The series is all tied up 2-2. Well, in Winnipeg, they're not talking about the Stanley Cup Playoffs. They're talking about the next coach of the Winnipeg Jets and hopefully the Winnipeg Blue Bombers season as the rookie camps are slated to open today. Let's go to Winnipeg now from Winnipeg Sports Talk. The owner, the host, the proprietor, just back from the NFL draft. I'm going to ask you about that, Hustler. But, hey, James Patrick's comments about the Jets culture, the Winnipeg Ice coach, how is that going over? What's happening, man? I was shocked.
Yeah, no kidding, Rod. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. The comments themselves were surprising just because they were said kind of publicly out in the open in a public domain. This conversation has been happening, I don't know, I mean, for a few years. I mean, he said it dates back like 5 seasons. I don't know if it goes that far. I mean, they were pretty darn good in that year where they went to the conference finals. But something happened with this team in the second half of the 2018-19 season. They were, right at the top of the league, basically at New Year's, and were a 500 team, if that. Big players only meeting after game 81 and lost in the first round of the St. Louis Blues. And since then, it's been pretty clear that there has been some major issues inside the hockey club. The fact of the matter is that you can have that scuttlebutt. You hear it from a guy down at the bar top in Winnipeg or in somewhere in Manitoba. When it's a guy that has that sort of an NHL resume, that's coaching the number one team in the Western Hockey League in Winnipeg, that obviously has close hockey ties. For people that maybe hadn't listened to that noise before, I think they've maybe got a little bit more time for it. But the bottom line is, it doesn't really matter what's happened in the past. I think it's quite clear that there's a number of problems that have ailed the Winnipeg Jets. They were incredibly disappointing. There is far more talent in that club than, showed itself on the ice this year. And that is a huge job for whoever takes over as the next head coach of the Winnipeg Jets, not only to get the most of it on the ice, but also seemingly to get a much more conducive team atmosphere, I would say, around the club. And, obviously the general manager is a big part of that too, with the potential moves that could happen, potentially in and around the NHL draft with, maybe a key member of the core.
Well, I can tell you I have no idea what's going on with the Winnipeg Jets, as God is my witness. But I see the general manager got a new 3-year deal. Chevy, I've known him since I was 16, and we went to camp together with the Wheat Kings. He's just a couple of years older. He's a Blaine Lake, Saskatchewan guy. How can you not like him? But something's going on. Obviously, the ownership likes Chevy. How did it go over that he's getting a new deal?
That was, I think, more mixed. I mean, there's certainly some people that hold Kevin Cheveldayoff responsible for the essentially the fact that this team has maybe been regressing a little bit over the final few years. I'll say this in Chevy's defense. The job of general manager of the Winnipeg Jets is one of the most difficult in the National Hockey League for all the players. And we have no idea the guys that they've tried to acquire, deals that they've done, and then to find out Winnipeg's on a no-trade list. And the same thing when it comes to free agency. Kevin Cheveldayoff has done a great job of drafting players. For the most part, the organization's done a good job of developing them. I mean, there were some questions about some of the younger players this year that, especially on the blue line, that, maybe could have been playing more, especially in a lost season at the end. And if you look at his trade record overall, I mean, there's still the jury's out on the Patrick Laine trade as to how that ends up. And I think that'll have most to do with whether Pierre-Luc Dubois signs a long-term contract here. But Cheveldayoff has done a lot of good things with the Winnipeg Jets. I think what the question that many people have about where the Winnipeg Jets are and where they're going is that, many of these problems that we've seen manifest themselves on the ice and off the ice, seemingly haven't been dealt with up until this point. And I think that is a sore spot for a lot of people. But it's quite clear that, ownership has been lockstep with Cheveldayoff and the moves that he's made. And I mean, overall, you can certainly make a case that Cheveldayoff's done, a job worthy of continuing on as the steward of this franchise. But I'll say this, all of that being said, this is the most impactful and interesting offseason since the Winnipeg Jets have come here from Atlanta in 2011. There will be some significant changes. There has to be some significant changes. And if they go the right way, Rod, we won't be talking about the Jets in the draft lottery next year. We'll talk about the Jets back in the Stanley Cup playoffs playing for a chance at hockey's Holy Grail.
I feel like it's a small tweak they need, not an overhaul. And I will, for what it matters for our Winnipeg viewers and yours, I like the Chevy deal. He's a good guy. He's got integrity, and I think they will be fine. Listen, you got to tell me about the NFL draft. Was it as amazing as it looked?
It was such a spectacle. I mean, the fact that they're now taking this show around the United States, going to be in Kansas City next year, as a big Chiefs fan, really looking forward to that, has been amazing. But the excitement of an event like that in Las Vegas is on another level. And I think it'll be the same thing when the Super Bowl goes there. The streets at night, Rod, were essentially a rainbow of NFL jerseys. It was fans from all over the place coming together and having a great time. And let's face it, the draft, we joke with Detroit Lions fans. That's their Super Bowl every year. The excitement is never higher on draft day for so many of the clubs. The NFL knows how to put a show on better than anyone. I mean, what they had set up there just off the strip was incredible. I mean, thousands and thousands of people there. Some great shows. Ice Cube played and Weezer played. I mean, some entertainment. And it was completely free, too, for fans. You just had to get the app. They had some crowd control ideas. But overall, it was great. And then, much like you kind of taking the show on the road, I mean, that's one of the best things about being in the digital space right now. I mean, with some great support from sponsors. And obviously, we were working with the folks from the Circa Group down in downtown Fremont. Went down to Bar Canada, did the show for a week, met a lot of great people, had a great time, and took in what the draft was all about. And tell you what, it'll be a different scene next year in KC. They'll certainly make it a Kansas City type party, and there'll be a lot of barbecue and a lot of tailgates and whatnot. But it is going to be, and I think the draft itself is going to grow over a year. To be honest, I think for a fan, the draft week and draft experience is better than the Super Bowl. I mean, the Super Bowl is so different than the Grey Cup. The Super Bowl isn't about the fans. It's about really rich people and really rich companies that have spent a lot of money over the course of the year. And that's sort of the way that they celebrate it. That's part of the reason why I love the Grey Cup so much, because it is about the fans. There was a lot of great stuff for fans at the NFL draft. And that being said, I mean, the NFL draft is the most impactful one because all these young men that we heard call their names in the first round and the second round, they're in all likelihood going to be in the lineups on week one of the 17-week NFL season come September. So we don't have to wait long to see a number of these players that have been called to make an impact in the National Football League, as opposed to what we'll be doing in Montreal coming up in early July when we're picking 18-year-olds that might not be NHLers for a few years.
Well, you had the draft covered. We had the Super Bowl covered. Thanks to our sponsors for that, PCL Construction and the Westin Hotel chain. We make a great team that way, Hustler. But as far as the Super Bowl goes, look, it's for rich people. I'm rich, so it was perfect for me. I have to channel my Charles Barkley there, but of course I liked it. It was for people like me. We only have 60 seconds. CFL season, the Blue Bombers. Are you jacked for it? What's the buzz in the Slurpee capital over that?
Oh, man, big time. I mean, as disappointing as the Jets season was, while they've had, a bit of a step back, the excitement about the Bombers is, to be honest, unlike any point that I can remember in my life. I mean, this community went through 29 years. I wasn't really old enough to really appreciate what was happening, in the 80s as far as big picture. But, man, back-to-back Grey Cup champs, Rod. I mean, bringing back most of that crew that's won those two rings. Favorites on the betting lines going into the season. I mean, there's high expectations, and there should be. And I think the majority of Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans and people in this community not only just can't wait to get back out to IG Field to get in the stands and have a great time, but really do believe that this team has the personnel, the coaching, the management put together to do something very special. And that would be the first 3 back-to-back-to-back championships since the Eskimos back in the 80s.
Hustler, great stuff, man. That's a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. See you at, 1 Central? My time zones are all screwed up here. Winnipeg Sports Talk?
Yeah, you bet. 1 Central. If you're watching Rod on the YouTube, just when Rod's finished up, head on over to Winnipeg Sports Talk. As always, for Rod's show, our show, hit that red subscribe button. Join us daily. It's a nice 1-2 punch in the new digital space for all the sports talk that you need weekdays here in Canada.
Approved. It's a tremendous tandem. Thank you, buddy. Okay, have fun.
All the best. Yeah, you enjoy that game tonight, boss. I'm jealous. Should be a great one. Game 5, lots on the line for the Panthers. Huge comeback win in Game 4. Wow.
It's a big one tonight. Andrew Hustler Patterson joining us from Winnipeg Sports Talk. We got Taco Time viewer takeover next. You're watching the RP Show live on Game Plus TV, YouTube live streaming, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Perfect timing as we lead into a sports update here ahead of viewer takeover. A look at the Saddledome Flames hosting the Dallas Stars in a pivotal Game 5 tonight. with their first round Stanley Cup Playoff series all knotted up 2-2. The Flames coming off a 4-1 win in Game 4. Elsewhere tonight in the Stanley Cup Playoffs, the Pittsburgh Penguins will try to finish off the Rangers. Penguins will try to finish off the Rangers at MSG, and the Florida Panthers entertain the Washington Capitals. Game 5 tonight, Sunrise Arena. My shirt is a year old. I don't care. Got it on sale. I'll be suited and booted tonight at FLA Live Arena in my usual press box seat. See you, Addy and crew there. Can't wait. Only 3 games tonight in the Stanley Cup Playoffs. I had a viewer write about the draft lottery, and I'm going to read that in a minute from him. But first, the Montreal Canadiens won the 2022 NHL Draft Lottery Tuesday night and have the first selection for the upcoming draft at their home arena. The Canadiens had the best odds to win the lottery at 18.5%. After posting an NHL worst record this season, they are now poised to be the first team to speak at the draft, which will be held July 7th and 8th at Centre Bell. The New Jersey Devils moved up in the lottery and earned the second overall pick. The Arizona Coyotes will pick third. Poor Arizona. I didn't know this, but I shouldn't laugh. But somebody said they've never had a number 1 overall pick. They're the worst team in the NHL right now. Well, worse than Montreal, I think. And they've never had a number 1 overall pick, and they can't even. They get third here now. For a second straight year, the team with the highest odds won the lottery. The Buffalo Sabres selected defenseman Owen Power last year with the number 1 pick. Habs have not had a first overall selection since drafting Doug Wickenheiser at the 1980 NHL draft, also held at the Montreal Forum. Dougie Wickenheiser, the greatest Regina Pat of all time. This sports update brought to you by Ballers Rec Room. Check out our brand new line of games for the tap, brewhouse, and drive-through liquor store. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. How much time did you guys say was left? 30 seconds. We are inside the final minute of play of hour 1. Oh, dang it. I had the comment here from Jeff Kozak. Here it is. Hey, Rod and crew. Sorry, he texted in on the 902 line. He's clearly watching on Game Plus. Nice to see the Habs get the first pick. They may get a chance at Bedard next year. What about the USFL? Yeah, I know. What about it? Thanks, Jeff Kozak. I'll bring it up with Moose next hour. And Steven Stamp will join us to talk some NLL after this break here on Game Plus TV.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com. Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Why am I getting upset? I shouldn't even care. The Vegas Golden Knights are my team. Andrew Brunette losing his mind, the Panthers coach Bruno, on a missed call. And I am loath to talk about officiating, especially this time of year. Blown penalty shot call in Dallas, missed hit to the head. Like, how do you miss? He's bleeding from the nose. How do you miss a hit to the head?
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, it is. It's hour 2 of the RP Show, coming to you from sunny South Florida. Game day down here in Sunrise. Panthers home to the Washington Capitals. And for you people watching in Western Canada, I know your eyes will be on the Calgary Flames. Nice work, guys. And the Dallas Stars. We're going to continue having a whole lot of fun as we welcome in the co-host and owner and CEO of the RP Show, Darren Moose DuPont. What up, Moose?
You know, just living the dream.
Yeah, I know you loved yesterday's show so much because we got into the old-time farming, ranching stories and all the rest, the small-town stories. We may continue into that here in hour 2. I got a few things cooked up and ready to go. I just want to say from some of our viewers, James Henderson, haven't heard from him in a while. He just wrote in, good morning from Borden, Manitoba. Actually said good afternoon because it is afternoon out there and here. Regarding the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, who should win the Calder Trophy as the NHL Rookie of the Year? The NHL announced the 3 candidates this morning. Michael Bunting, Moritz Seider, and Trevor Zegras. I said I'd vote for Zegras. Nick T. VIP, that's his YouTube handle. He's watching. He says in the chat, people who aren't picking Mo Seider are crazy. He's the next coming of Lidstrom. Man can hit and put up points. Somebody wrote in here earlier about Tanner Jeannot that he had over 300 hits for the Predators and something like 26 goals or something like that. There's a lot of good rookies coming up in the National Hockey League, and I don't think I watched Detroit play one game this year. I can't tell you anything about Mo Seider. How much have you watched him?
Very little. Very, very little. I maybe seen one game on a Saturday afternoon, right? It's just when the team is that far out of it and they're not in our market and they just weren't on the radar, right? I mean, what do you expect? You're not going to watch every single team every day in the National Hockey League, but you heard a lot about those rookies, seen a lot of film in terms of highlights, but never got to watch them play really much.
Yeah, and by the way, I was somewhat joking with Andrew Patterson last hour. I don't know if you were watching, but he said, the Super Bowl is only for rich people. The draft's more fun. It's for the common man. And I'm like, yeah, I'm rich. That's why I love the Super Bowl. I joke a little bit. I'm wearing a 1-year-old Panthers playoff t-shirt because I got it on sale. I'm not rich, but you've been around me long enough now, every day for 3+ years. I'm cheap. So when I go to Super Bowl and I want to dole out some money to go to a party with Chris Carter and Solomon Wilcots and Michael Irvin, which I did, I'll pay the money. It's worth it. Right? But I don't go around throwing money around like crazy.
Yeah, selecting what you spend your money on, and he's giving you the gears because he went to the draft, but you went to the Super Bowl. It's just like, yeah, it's good. It's fun. Between the two of us, we got it all covered, right?
Yeah, and I know that there will be a day that we're both at both shows. I will say this. It's been a long time since we rickied ourselves, but we should for a second and just say it was your vision to go to this. There's Ricky, our mascot. We haven't seen him for a long time. It's been a long time since we've been talked about this. We went to the Stanley Cup Finals. That was your idea. Going to the Super Bowl was your idea. So I will say that you had the vision for this, and now Hustler's looking at us from Winnipeg going, they're doing it, why don't I? Now he's doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's pretty cool to... How's it feel to be a trailblazer, Moose?
I don't ever consider myself a trailblazer and that stuff, but I just enjoy it. I think it's what we need to do. I want to connect with more people. I'm just doing what I think is the right thing for us and our journey, and that's it.
So there's that. This is the time of the show that I really enjoy. Full-on taco time, viewer takeover, whatever you folks would like to talk about, I'm here for. Of all the NHL awards that we've talked about this week, and that has been Goalie of the Year, what else did we talk? Defenseman of the Year, and now this, the Rookie of the Year. This one's generated the most discussion, and I don't know if it's because one of the players is from Saskatchewan or not, or that could have been a finalist, Tanner Jeannot. I'm not sure. But the Calder Trophy, actually, this is what I wanted to bring up, has generated a lot of discussion. Michael Bunting's in there because he's a Leaf. And I'm thinking, there's the Eastern Canadians. I won't say pollutes, but it infects our federal elections. And I know for a fact it affects our voting for awards like in the Canadian Football League because there's more votes there. There's more people there. Does this mean then that Austin Matthews will win the Hart Trophy as NHL MVP because there's more people voting for Austin Matthews now? What do you think?
It's a good question. I don't know. I think, it's easier to have the players in those bigger markets, especially Toronto, pop into your mind and become part of the conversation because of the population and because there's all that attention out east. And, when we start talking about the media snowball, we've seen that come up in the NFL. We saw it come up in the CFL draft, right? Rick Campbell, when he selected Nathan Cherry, talked about not buying into the media snowball. One person talks about a player, another talks about a player, a third talks about a player. Then we start collectively thinking, maybe that player should be the best player, right? We start talking about Austin Matthews every day. We start thinking he should be in contention for the Hart Trophy, and our voting goes that way. So yeah, media coverage has a lot to do with it for sure.
My cousin Christine has written in, and since she's watching, I'll throw in a story that she'll like here. She says, I so hope you see a great game tonight, Rod. What you wearing? I've already picked out my wardrobe. It's from Colin O'Brien's Man Shop. If you can believe, Wade Miller and I have the exact same suit. It's blueberry blue. I might add, slightly different sizes. It's a bright blue with a crisp white shirt. I'm going to look like one of the owners tonight in that press box. No tie, because I'm not on the air. I've already got it all lined up and ready to go. Thank you for asking. And I got a story for you. It's come up because of us talking about being rich and me joking that I'm rich. My dad and I would have been about 9 or 10. And you heard me tell this story at the funeral, his funeral. But we were driving in the truck, Chevy Silverado. And I just looked at him. Dad's driving, of course. And I said, Dad, you wish you were rich? And my dad looked at me and goes, I am rich. And I looked around the truck. I'm like, how do you figure that, Dad? And he goes, I can walk into any rink in Saskatchewan and know somebody and be able to call them a friend. That makes me rich.
How about that?
I'm like, okay. Didn't really understand it at the time, but I get it now.
Yeah.
Because as we've found all across the prairies, I can walk into any rink, actually all over North America, now that I think about it, that we could go and we'll know somebody and be able to call them a friend. And that was from James William Peterson. That's pretty good advice right there, wouldn't you say?
I'd say that's tremendous advice from your dad. Yeah. And we're seeing that all across North America now, and how valuable that is and how cool it is to have to be able to do that in different venues and different places.
One more from Chris. She said, must be kind of weird walking into a rink in Florida. Not at all. And I can't wait, Moose, till you come down here, and Lee from our staff and whomever else wants to come down here. You walk out of a very cold rink. It's very cold. You open the doors and it's like walking into a steam room. It's like somebody's wrapped you with a hot, wet blanket. It's amazing. Because, you know, in the 90s and even the 80s, you weren't even born yet, but you probably saw the highlights of those games from Boston Garden where the humidity was so bad, the players had to skate around with towels and wave them, right, to get rid of the humidity and the steam in the room, in the rink.
Yeah.
We all remember Dallas in the 90s, so hot this time of year. And let's remember the Stars were one of the best teams in the NHL, so they were going late every spring. And they had to bring in those air conditioners and hook them onto the rink and blast AC into the rink to keep the ice good enough. Shoot, 2001 Memorial Cup in Regina, we brought in the NHL ice maker. I want to say his name was Craig, Brian Craig, something like that. And we had to bring in those dehumidifiers and AC machines for the Memorial Cup in 2001. Somewhere along the line, and nobody talks about this anymore, they figured out the technology for building temperature. And maybe it is as simple as dropping the temperature. I don't know. I'm not a rink technician. But I remember this, and you've heard me tell this story. Just within the last 5-10 years, I would walk around the bowels of the Brant Center, the home of God's team, the Regina Pats, and it was darn cold on game night. You don't want to wear a parka at your own rink like you used to be comfortable on that rink back in the day. You could wear shorts. So I said to Phil, the Zamboni driver, I was walking by the Zamboni room, I said, Phil, can you turn up the heat in here? Jesus. And he goes, it's a hockey rink, not a shopping mall. I'm like, good point. And then scooted up to the press box and never brought it up again. But have you noticed that we don't ever talk about ice conditions ever? The only guy was Brad Gushu in the World Curling Championships in Las Vegas this year, and I'll give them a pass because it's Vegas. What do they know about curling ice? But you don't hear about it anywhere in the NHL. And as a matter of fact, you don't see the puck jumping. You don't, like, it's a thing. They have figured out perfect ice across the National Hockey League.
They have. And in all these buildings, small town rinks now have gotten so much better with the ice. The knowledge is so much greater. But I will say it was I was a kid. And, you know, Milestone and Wynyard and all the small towns in between, how cold the rinks were. And we'd get a chance to go to Yorkton, to the Gallagher Center. We'd go to Humboldt, or, you know, very rare. I think it was one time we got a chance to go to Saskatoon and play in Sask Place. And we used to think, it's so cool. I can walk around the rink without a jacket on. I don't have to be bundled up. And mom and dad could watch and be comfortable, not huddled around the one heater in the rink. But despite that, the building was comfortable. The ice was always so cool. And we thought that was like a mystical thing.
Ryan H. on YouTube writes in, he says, I love hearing stories with your dad in them. It makes me remember my dad also. Always brings good times to mind. Well, let me tell you a couple more while we're sitting here telling stories. And for those that don't know, have I mentioned that my dad worked 26 years for the Dallas Star? So he would go down to Dallas, and he would come back, and he would laugh. My dad and I spent a lot of time together, a lot of time. And he would go, you wouldn't believe, Rods. He was the only guy in the world that called me Rods. That was my name, Rods. These people, they have no idea about hockey, like no idea. He would go down, sit in the crowd, and just listen to people, just like I do. Now that I think about it, I do the exact same thing. But I do it in coffee shops and restaurants and gym locker room, whatever. So he would sit there and come back and go, these guys, you wouldn't believe the stuff they said. They're like, I think if the puck hits the glass when they shoot it in from outside the blue, I think that's icing. He's like, a bunch of idiots. You know, and like all of that. And then everybody's talking about the girl behind the bench in Dallas, right? You saw her?
Mm-hmm.
Who didn't?
How did you not?
You're right. Everybody's talking about the girl in Dallas behind Rick Bowness. We're all, can't wait for Game 6. And my dad, he would say, they got thousands of them down there like that. I won't say too much more. He'd say you can't shake a stick without hitting a 6-foot blonde. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thousands of them down there, just like that, my dad would say. And it reminds me of Glenn Gulletson was the coach of the Stars for a while. And I can't remember where I ran into Gully. He's now the Oilers assistant coach. But he said to me one time, he's like, I always liked hanging around with your dad. My dad didn't drink, just like I don't. And he goes, I always knew that I could always hang out with your dad. It would always be a good night. I'd always get home early. And he said, your dad and I, whenever we got together, we would go for a steak because your dad loved beef. He loved good beef. I'm starting to realize I've become my dad. That's a
good
beef.
thing. Yeah, that's a good thing.
Exactly. We're going to break. Darren in Salt Lake City says, in Vegas, they know very little about any ice. Yeah, I guess. When we come back, the viewers asked about USFL. Text it in. Let's get the text line humming. You're watching on Game Plus TV anywhere across North America live, all 10 provinces and 31 states. Text that number. I'm not joking. You can pick it up. You can text me sitting right here in this chair, and we'll answer your questions and talk about whatever you want to talk about. We'll be right back. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube live streaming, and if you missed any of the show, you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
All right, well, they're not going to be playing hockey there, but darn close. South Florida, Game 5 tonight, Panthers. If that looked, Panthers Capitals, if that looks familiar, that is where the Netflix series Bloodline was filmed. Actually, I think it was on a U.S. cable channel before Netflix, but look it up, Bloodline. It's fantastic. Great spot down there in the Florida Keys. By the way, Jeff Foxworthy, the largest selling comedy recording artist in history, a multiple Grammy Award nominee, and best-selling author of more than 26 books, brings his brand new The Good Old Days tour to Calgary on May 28th, the Grey Eagle Event Center. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.ca, but you better hurry, they're running out. That's not too far away, Saturday, May 28th. Let's bring the Moose in, Darren Moose DuPont. And listen, I do want to talk about the Centennial Cup. My brother was texting me last night about Cale Makar's little brother's coming in with Brooks. I'm somewhat shocked you would pull the car over and go into the rink in Brooks while driving back from Calgary. Like, good on you. That's something I would do. Did you really enjoy yourself doing that?
Oh, I was literally wanting to stay, like the whole, and I mean, and it, sure, it extended my night a little bit, but yeah, I did. I wanted to go in and check it out, and it was so much fun, and everybody was so hospitable and welcoming in the arena, and man, the game was great. The crowd was great. I love it when there's a full rink, and I knew it was going to be like the town was dead. Driving through town, everybody was at the rink that night. It was really cool.
That's junior hockey. Well, I love it so much. And it is, in a way, my guilty pleasure. And that's why I can't wait to get to Estevan for the Centennial Cup. They know it. I know it. You know it, Moose. The viewers know it. My God. I would have spent my entire life working in junior hockey, but it doesn't pay that well. It's like the CFL. Only a few guys are making all the money. And I can guarantee it ain't the broadcasters. So it's nice to come in at your leisure, do things like the Centennial Cup. I got expensive taste, man. So, yeah, that's what's great about junior hockey. By the way, one more from Cousin Chris, who I will have you know was childhood neighbors of Murray Edwards, the owner of the Calgary Flames. Moose, when we were in Calgary, how many times did the name Murray Edwards come up? You tell me. How often?
Daily.
Right? Every day. And here's the thing. When I say I got junior hockey coaches texting me, CFL coaches calling me like they did today, they know who the power brokers are. It's the owners. They don't get it. Don Cherry always talked about the owners, right? All the time. Because when you work in the game, you know they're the ones that are calling the shots, but the fans don't know because they don't see them on TV, and that's just the way the owners like it. Because you look at that Winnipeg Jets situation, and they got a rotten culture. I'm sorry. Do you know who is responsible for the culture of any organization, Darren? I'll wait. Answer me.
The guy at the top.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Tell him what he's won, Bob. And it's not that I don't like Mark Chipman. I gave him a signed copy of my book. Met him at a Humboldt Broncos game. He's best friends with Paul Hill, who was my employer for 23 years. They're best friends. But nice guys run the Kinsman Club. Does he know what he's doing? You know, when you talk about who's responsible for a culture, it starts at the top. Oh, and I got sidetracked here with my cousin Chris. Can I point this out? She says, our grandmother, mine and Rod's, raised award-winning Black Angus beef that was always hung for no less than 21 days. The best ever. I remember walking in to speak to the Saskatchewan Stock Growers Association back when, prehistoric times, Moose, before COVID, when we couldn't get together in group. And I said, my grandfather started this association you all are part of. And they're like, what? Started the Saskatchewan Stock Growers Association. Anyways, we've had a couple people write in here about the United States Football League. Ryan H. on YouTube says, will spring football last long enough to see a USFL-XFL merger? Call me crazy, and many do, but I don't think the XFL's got anything to worry about now. Not with The Rock owning them, not with their NFL partnership. It's distasteful to me that people want to poo-poo on spring football, like the CFL's got no problems. But whatever, you can say what you want. I haven't watched USFL games because I found them not that accessible to me, or maybe I'm doing other things when the games are on. But I don't hear you talking about it, Moose.
No, and I haven't been watching, and that's unfortunate. I know, but I've seen some of the commentary on social, and I've seen some of the conversation, and actually what I've seen is the conversation trending now upwards to a point where people are saying the USFL is actually a really exciting product, and it continues to get better every week. So it's kind of got me thinking, and I've been, as I scroll Twitter and whatnot, I'll think, I should make a point to check out a game again and see how it is. I've seen it a little bit here and there, but it just hasn't grabbed my attention. But apparently, the product is getting more and more entertaining.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, because it's like what's entertaining to one isn't entertaining to another. Like, it depends on what, like I'm again, dyed-in-the-wool hockey guy. Part of the reason why I love being in Florida and Calgary so much is I can be me. People like me. And the people that I roll with like to talk hockey 24/7, so it works really nice. And when I watched hockey in the bubble and there was no crowd, I didn't care that there was no crowd because I'm watching the game. Football's different. I didn't play football. I never played it down. Yeah, I called CFL games for 20 years, and I loved it. Believe me, I do. But I'm not that guy. I need a flyover. I need cheerleaders. I need smoke.
Yeah.
Right? I love it. So that's entertainment to me. As a matter of fact, coach that called me this morning, and you know him, said to me, he's like, Rod, I don't know how much these CFL rule changes are really going to change. And I said, okay, why? Follow me if I can. This is for the football people that don't understand. I don't really even understand it. He's like, when they narrowed the hash marks in the NFL in the 70s, he said rushing stats went up by a lot, rushing numbers. And I said, why? And he goes, because defensive coaches knew they couldn't overplay the run, something. I'm like, you lost me. Like, I get that hockey lingo. I get left wing lock. I get the trap. I get why 1-2-2 format in hockey. I do. If that coach said that to you, you know what he's talking about? Because I didn't.
I would know what he's talking about. But again, I coached the game. I played the game. Right?
Yeah.
I have a little bit more intimate knowledge with the game like you do with hockey.
Yeah, so to entertainment purposes, this is a coach, like all of them, because I've accused him of this and he didn't disagree. I said, you'd be happy if they didn't have a fan in the stands. That's what you don't get. This is when we were together. And by the way, we talked like that to each other, and we never got mad at each other. Figure that one out. Yeah. But I said, you have to understand, we need to sell some sizzle. We need to sell some pop. We need to get people going. We need some buzz here. You would prefer to, you don't care if there's fans or not, but you don't understand how you get paid. Yeah. So back to the entertainment thing. You know, I watched the opening weekend of USFL games. I saw Birmingham play New Jersey. Each team scored on their opening drive. I'm like, to somewhat the naked eye, doesn't look any lesser or better than the CFL to me. I'm entertained. Players are clearly very good. They've only been together for 3 weeks through training camp. This was week 1. And the defenses weren't that tight, but who really wants them to be? Or maybe you do, because I can be a fan of a 1-0 hockey game. I don't mind a hockey game that's 1-0. But boy, you and I heard those Flames fans belly aching that they paid $700 a ticket for a 2-0 game with an empty netter, and I'm like, that sounds like a you problem to me. Yeah. So again, to the you know, what's entertaining to you in a football game versus a hockey game? No, I'm asking.
Yeah. No, and for me, it's a little bit of everything. Like, I am very much, a thinker and a vision guy and a dreamer and that kind of thing. So I need storylines. I need to be attached. I need to be invested. So, I want to know that this team is favored to win and supposed to win, and that team's supposed to lose. And I like seeing the storylines of it. I like the up and downs. Like, I like some scoring. I like some lead changes. I like some drama. It's what I like. I like crowds booing or cheering. I like the emotion of it all. So for me, it all comes together. And just because we haven't looked at it in a while, I did pull up, because I know we have teams in the USFL, just for fun. My Michigan Panthers are 1-3, third in the North, and your Tampa Bay Bandits are 2-2, third in the South.
Can you name one player on your team, Michigan?
I cannot.
And
the running back
player on Tampa Bay
that they cut.
The guy, I don't even remember his name. Well, exactly. The 24-hour world that my brother talks about. We live in a 24-hour world. We're like Dory. Remember Dory in Finding Nemo? Mm-hmm. What was her memory? 6 seconds? We're getting there. We're getting there as a society. Wayne Grollo in Victoria, BC says the problem with spring football is that the American football fans aren't interested in anything other than the NFL. Well, have you seen a College stadium lately? Which reminds me, Jeff Kibilis in Winnipeg writes, and he says, I love all football. I'm all in for 365 days a year football. That's Jeff in Winnipeg. And I could say he's a Georgia fan. I know that. And his team won the championship. So he's got a lot of reasons to be happy about that. But let's just say in Toronto, you talk to any hockey person from Toronto, they'll tell you that they're Leaf fans in that town, not hockey fans, because nobody goes to the Marley games and nobody goes to the junior games. They're Leaf fans. So, see what I'm saying? In Canada, you say you're a hockey fan, but I think you're an NHL fan, by and large. Although I think the crowds are getting better for the junior games, but we're in the frickin' second round of the playoffs. I would hope so. And in Estevan, you can't get a ticket, but that's the league final, right? So it's a fun talk, right? It's a fun debate.
Oh, for sure.
BW in Edmonton says the best team of defunct spring football, the Arizona Hotshot, in memory of the fallen 19 smoke jumpers lost battling wildfires. I remember that team. That was in the Alliance of American Football. Did they even last a season? Or was it a season and a half, the Alliance?
It wasn't long, whatever it was. I can't remember how long it was now, but that just seems like a flash in the pan.
They didn't go long enough to even give themselves a chance. But, just back to not knowing who the players were. I'm actually okay with where things are in sports and broadcasting right now. Because, for instance, I was watching the Leaf Tampa game last night. It was on ESPN. I said to Serena, do you know who these announcers are? She's like, I had no idea. Like, just about every time you turn on a hockey game, there's somebody calling the game that I have no idea who it is. Every game. Look at the panels in between periods. It's different people. Every game. What it used to be, Ron and Don. And that's why I like what we're doing here, is we're on the air every flippin' day at the same time, noon Eastern, every day. And people are getting to know us. They feel like they know us, and we're sucking them in like heroin. They don't have a chance. So, yeah, you guys keep doing what you're doing. And, you know, like I said the other day, I challenged the viewers, name 5 Rough Riders, and they struggled. The guy goes, I can name 5 Rough Riders, but I can't name 5 players on every other team. That's the way it is now. So anyways, and the one thing is, early on when we got going, people said to me, hey, Rod, how come you never take a vacation? I'm like, from what? What would I do? Go to Florida? Talk sports for a couple hours a day? Anyways, Moose, I'll see you in overtime.
Sounds good.
We're going to preview a very exciting weekend of NLL Conference Final play next with Steven Stamp from Lacrosse Link. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio streaming at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
RP Show continues. By the way, folks, did you know Taco Time has been around for over 40 years in Canada? Did you know Canadians love local? Go loco, eat local. Taco Time uses fresh ingredients sourced in Canada. Our beef, chicken, cheddar cheese, sour cream, and Mexi fries are all made in Canada. Taco Time viewer takeover is coming up in overtime, but I just wanted to get that mention in there as you people in Western Canada are getting close to lunchtime, and those of us out here in the East are thinking about supper. And we're also thinking about the NLL Conference Finals this upcoming weekend. Joining us to talk about it is Steven Stamp. He's been with us pretty much all season long. It feels like it's gone by fast, Stamper, but it's down to the Conference Finals, Final Four. Does it feel like a fast season to you?
It really feels fast. It feels like it picked up momentum. And, then you hit the playoffs and you've got 8 teams and boom, one weekend, 4 of them are gone. So we're down to the Final Four. And, some interesting stories, obviously, with San Diego winning their first ever playoff game to make their first conference final or division final. You've got Colorado, who beat Calgary after being 1-10 against them, in previous games. You've got the Toronto-Buffalo rivalry going this weekend. So there's a lot still to happen in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, and you mentioned it. It's win or go home. One game showdown in this conference semifinals. And there was some exciting games, a lot of buzz in Calgary where we were with the Roughnecks home to the Mammoth. But it's like the Mammoth just gear it up come playoff time. Ask me as a Saskatchewan Rush fan. I've seen it. But as far as these rivalries go, again, we'll slow it down and tell the viewers that are new to the NLL. West Conference, San Diego, Colorado. East Conference, Toronto, Buffalo. I got to think from an NLL perspective, those are some pretty good series.
They are. I mean, the East has the history of Toronto and Buffalo being 2 of the iconic franchises. They've been around since Buffalo since the beginning and was winning championships early on, had a perfect season back in the day. The Toronto Rock, who won 5 championships in about a 7-year run, and they have been rivals forever. And now they're the top 2 teams in the league this year in the standings. You've got Buffalo's Dane Smith almost broke his own record for points. He had 135 points in 18 games this year. Unbelievable. You've got Toronto with a game last weekend. They played Halifax, and they were up 9-3 at the half. You figure they're kind of home and cooled out. Halifax actually came back and took a lead in the 4th quarter of that game. They went up 13-12. Tom Schreiber, who had 47 goals in the regular season, had to get one late to tie it up for them. And then the captain, Challen Rogers, with the overtime winner on an amazing play where a rebound comes off the backboards. He tips it past the guy who's covering him, races onto it, breakaway, scores a 5-hole goal. So that's a classic rivalry. On the other side, this is only San Diego's 3rd year in the league. So they're playing a Colorado team that does have history, won the 06 championship, goes back a ways, but has had their struggles in the playoffs, primarily with Calgary beating them 10 times. But, San Diego with their first playoff win, and they've got some players like, Dane Doby, the legendary guy lefty forward. You got Brody Merrill playing for his brother Patrick, the head coach and GM. So there's some pretty cool storylines there of the younger team getting a chance in the West versus the real legendary teams in the East.
Viewer Ryan McCarthy watching in Saratoga, New York, he covers the Albany Firewolves. He says, question for Mr. Stamp. In your mind, which player should be league MVP? Dane Smith, Joe Resetarits, or another player?
I mean, I think it'd be hard to argue with Dane Smith. He had 135 points. He took on, when he set the record with 137 points, he scored 72 goals. But this year, he saw all the talent around him. He had 7 players around him who wound up, 6 players besides him who scored more than 50 points this year. So he was a facilitator. He set the record with 94 assists. He did what his team needed to finish on top of the standings. So I'd go with him. I mean, Reza Terrence was huge for Albany. I think Ryan Lee in Colorado was massive, actually breaking the old assist record, but being behind Dane Smith. I think, those are kind of the big guys, but I think it's hard to say Smith shouldn't be the guy.
Anything else on the NLL before we move on to your most recent travels?
Yeah, I think the awards will come out. They've just announced voting for the awards has happened. So that's interesting. And it's the media are back involved voting on those, which hasn't happened for a bit. So it's pretty cool to see the transparency of the league. They put out an announcement today saying, hey, this is how the awards are all working, when sometimes that's kind of been more of a behind the scenes thing, which is cool. The other big issue, I think, is attendance. That's always a challenge in the first week of the playoffs. You saw 3 games in Calgary, San Diego, and Hamilton for the Toronto Rock, between 6,000 and 7,000 fans. Buffalo was a whole different beast. They had over 12,000. They were rocking. It's always a challenge the first week to get big crowds out, but I think that'll really pick up this week because it's, the season finishes and then you set the playoff schedule once the last games of the season end. You just don't know. You don't have a lot of time to sell them. So I'm looking for things to really ramp up in terms of intensity with the crowds this weekend.
And so you were in Europe covering the championships there. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I went to Prague. It's my 3rd trip to go over and see the E-Box tournament, the European Box Invitational, which is national teams just coming together to play some games in Radotín, a suburb of Prague with this most gorgeous little jewel of a lacrosse rink right in the middle of the town. You've got the hills in the background and all the houses around. And then the Alice Robeski Memorial, which was canceled for 2 years, like so many things. It brings teams in from all over the world. The home team from Radotín, the LCC Custodes, won the championship. They beat the 3rd place team was Turku Titans from Finland. The 2nd place team was the Glasgow Clydesiders, kind of a Scottish base, but a lot of American and Canadian guys on that team. The 4th place team you had from Alberta, the Alberta Warriors. There are teams from all over. There's teams from Turkey, Sweden, Finland, so Austria, Switzerland, all over the place. It's such a great festival and celebration of the game. And it's just, it did my heart good. They talk about lacrosse being the medicine game. And I know for a lot of us there, getting back together with all those people from around the world, it was just like nothing else.
I got to ask you this. When I saw these young kids playing soccer in the 90s, where I was living on the prairies, soccer wasn't a thing back then. It wasn't in Canada. Look where we are now. It's becoming Canada's national sport. We're the reigning gold medalists in women's soccer. The men are in the World Cup. Do you see that coming with lacrosse? Are the numbers mushrooming? Are you seeing the popularity exploding because there's more kids playing? It's cheaper to play. I think that's why kids got into it, and, where I was from, because it was cheap. What's the future ahead in Canada for lacrosse?
I think it's good. I mean, Canada in some ways has struggled a bit with losing to other sports. There are challenges, I think, in a lot of centers in Canada, but it's still going pretty well. Where it's really blowing up is around the world. The U.S. in particular, the National Lacrosse League just announced a partnership with USA Lacrosse to promote box lacrosse, men's and women's. You've got all these teams from around Europe. The European Championship this summer in the men's European Box Championships that will be held in Hanover, Germany, are going to have more teams than they've only had one previous Euros, but it's growing. The next men's Worlds, we're looking at maybe up to 30 teams. There will be a women's World Box Lacrosse Championship for the first time in 2024 in conjunction with the men's. So I think it's really taking off in a lot of places. Canada needs to keep up. We're still the top lacrosse country in the world. Obviously, we've won every box world championship, but I think we're facing more challenges, and I think we really need to address some governance issues and just get kids playing the game and let people play and stop fighting each other and stepping on each other as we do it.
Gotcha. Stamper, thanks for this. Appreciate it, man. Enjoy the conference finals.
Thank you. It's always great to catch up.
Our lacrosse insider from Lacrosse Link, Steven Stamp. Moose joins us next for Overtime Okay? Get it all off your chest. If you want, get it in now. 902-518-3033. The number's on the screen. 902-518-3033. You can tweet us, join us in the chat, whatever you want to say. We got one segment left. Get it off your chest. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital 4.
Know whether that's Friday or Monday of this week. I don't know. The bracelet says one day at a time. We'll be going back to Dodge City. You'll always know we're in Dodge City when we're by the pool. That is in Dodge City. But we're not in Dodge City today. And by the way, the yard work, here's the thing. The guy comes here Friday. They're doing it on the other side of the hedge today. It ain't us. There's a FedEx building back there and a tanning salon. Wayne in BC writes in and he says, it's been a fun show today with Rod's childhood stories. Mind you, I always enjoy the RP show. How about that?
How about that?
Getting to be more and more stories. I feel like yelling at this guy if he can knock it off, but it's not his fault. They don't really care that we're doing a show here. Clearly. We're down to 6 minutes to go. Still no Moose? Well, yes. We always have him for overtime. Why would it change today, Moose? Ken Pearson writes in from Neepawa, Manitoba. Do you feel Andrew Brunette is on the hot seat if the Panthers don't beat the Capitals this round? Yes, I absolutely do. And that's without having spoken to anybody in the Panthers organization at all. But very awkward situation going down with the Panthers this year. They didn't want to get by to Joel Quenneville, and he clearly did not want down either. But at all, the Cox scandal. So Quenneville wasn't coming back to this team probably ever. We bring the Moose in now and get his take on that. So Bruno coaches the Panthers to the best regular season in franchise history. Some great individual seasons. The question, Moose, while you were logging in, is from Ken watching in Neepawa, Manitoba on Game Plus TV. He says, do you feel Andrew Brunette is on the hot seat if the Panthers don't beat the Capitals this round? It's really no different to me than what went on in Winnipeg with Dave Lowry. Nobody's talking about Dave Lowry coming back to coach the Jets next season because he didn't miraculously turn the team around. He's not even a candidate, I don't think. With Brunette here, they go on and do something in these playoffs. He would have a shot. They don't. They'll open up the candidacy. And they probably will anyways, but Brunette's been auditioning all year.
I agree. I agree with you completely. I do think that. I think that if Florida wins, if they lose, there might be some questions around Andrew Brunette, but he showed me a lot in that last game, even the series in Game 4, when he pulled the goaltender with 3 minutes to go. That was a really bold move, and it paid off. He put his balls on the table, supported his guys, and they backed him up, and they ended up winning the game in overtime. Now, if they lose in the first round, obviously they're going to want to go through and wonder why, and can Andrew Brunette coach this team to a Stanley Cup? But right now he's coaching, or he's coaching for his coaching life, and so far I think he's okay. He had a great season. They're in a good spot. Look at Washington's won a Stanley Cup. There's a lot of veteran players there. They're a 100-plus point team. It's not like they're a terrible hockey team. So still some work to do, though, for the Panthers.
Jay Woodcroft in Edmonton, same thing. Yeah. Does he get brought back by the Oilers next season if they don't get past LA in the first round? 10 days ago, Jay Woodcroft was the second coming of Glenn Sather. Okay, now they're facing elimination. So this is a day-by-day thing. Randy in Winnipeg writes in and he says, another great show, RP crew. Enjoy the game tonight, Rod. Panthers win 5-2. Well, we'll see. I'm just excited to be there. And as you all know, I think people are finally starting to get it, Moose. started building bridges, laying the foundation, going back to September. I've been around this Panthers team all year. This is a very close team and a very close organization. Nobody wants to say goodbye to Joel Quenneville. My God, he won 3 Stanley Cups with the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's a good guy. But I figured they'd be okay. And they have been okay. But that's not to say that Brunette will be brought back next year. Metal Shingle Guy wrote in, and I apologize, it was like 40 minutes ago, but he says, will Dupes be in Saskatoon at Riders Camp? I'll let you handle that one, Moose.
Not likely. Not likely. I mean, unless I went down as a fan to watch, no. If we're covering camps, it'll be what we see, trying to cover them all, and my attention's in other places.
Elsewhere. Rider training camp, not a thing for us. But thanks for asking, Metal Shingle Guy. Ted in Red Deer. Awesome show, Rod. Leaf blowers and all. LOL. I mean, you do what you can do. Last minute of play in the RP show. Last minute of play. You want to go down the spiritual road in the final 60 seconds? They say...
I'm in.
And I was supposed to see my advisor today, but it's going to be now Sunday. But everything that you've gone through in your life is setting you up for now. Personally and professionally. And when I talked about broadcasting that IBF event with my color guy, Ken LaCusta, remember? And I said that filter caught fire over my head and dripped hot plastic on my hand. I can handle a damn leaf blower. Chris says, thanks for the stories. Enjoyed the show. Enjoy the game tonight. Moose, answer my emails, says Sebastian Garacci. Are you getting his emails?
I'm going to check. I'll look.
Okay. Sounds like we have a busy day ahead. See you tomorrow, Moose.
Later.
Jordan wouldn't roll up to a bush party and steal the booze and girls and take off.